Good morning, it's Rebecca from Rebecca Inc. Today we are going to draw a dragonfly. Thank you, Rhonda Boster, for the suggestion. I love it. What you need to join in is a pencil, a marker, an eraser, or if you have like a pink eraser, some kind of eraser, any kind, doesn't matter, and a piece of paper. And that is all you need. So if you need to gather up your supplies, put me on pause and go gather up your supplies and come right back. I'm going to move my guide. Today we are going to orient our paper vertically, nice and tall in front of you. And we are going to start up toward the top of our paper. You are going to grab your pencil. I'm going to use a marker so that you can see me better. I'm just going to make sure. Yep. Oh, I almost forgot to hit start on my time lapse. That would have been sad. All right, here we go. We're going to start up at the top of our paper with an oval. How we're going to build our dragonfly is we're going to start at the top and do the body and then go back and add the wings. So for this shape, actually for all these shapes, going down our dragonfly's body, they're pretty small. So for the majority of it, you're going to be using some fine motor skills. If you're little and that is difficult, grab a bigger piece of paper and then you can draw them bigger. Okay, so we're going to do a little oval about that size, about that far from the top of your paper. Right underneath that, we're going to do a rectangle. Oh, my marker's not working. A rectangle. Now to get these shapes, I am kind of planting my wrist and just using my fingers. A lot of times when we do these, I tell you go around and around and around and around. Same idea as if you're using your whole hand or your whole arm, but we're just going to do the air drawing with our fingers, and then when we get the shapes, we set it down. Underneath that rectangle, we're going to do two ovals, one here and one here. So plant your wrist, get your hand going around and around and around. When you've got that shape, set your pencil down. I'll set my marker down. My marker seems darker. I think I grabbed a different one. All right, same thing. Rotate it the other way. So one oval this direction and then rotate it. One oval that direction. Very good. Inside those ovals, let's draw a little circle there. And another little circle here. You're planting your wrist and you're going around and around and around and around. Now your shapes will not be perfect here, and you're going to have some lines that waver in, some lines that waver out. That is exactly what you want. We're creating a nice loose guide, so let it be nice and loose and don't stress too much about making it perfect, okay? Now we're going to be doing, I'm going to call them arms. If you know insect shapes or insect parts, my cousin Gabby, she could chime in here. If you know the names of these, let me know in the comments below. I'm finding as I'm doing these drawings, I don't know what things are called. I know what shapes they're, but I don't know what they're called. So we're going to draw one arm off to the right here, starting with a long skinny oval, going up from that, another skinny oval, and then tilted, a third skinny oval, just like that. Very good. Our little dragonfly is kind of making a what with his hands, like what? So it kind of makes a W. Here we go. And then the little one on the end. So we did a long one this way, and then a long skinny one going up, and then one tilted off. All right, so we've got our little arms. Next up, moving down the body, we're going to do a circle. Be about the size of a quarter. So on this one, you can get your whole arm going. From your shoulder, get your arm going in the shape of a circle, and when you get that shape, set your pencil down nice and light. Around and around we go. And this one you can see a little bit better since it's a bigger shape, how mine is not perfect. Perfectly imperfect, as I like to say. Let's add in a little detail there. On this shape, below where you have your arms, write the letter S on the right-hand side. Give it a little curl at the end. Now, flip your paper and write the letter S on the other side. I'm just going to do a reverse so you can see there. Little curl. They're not exact. Yours won't be either. That's fine. I suggested flipping your paper so that you could write the letter S because I think that would be an easier way to do it. You might end up with your curl over here, so you've got a curl here and a curl here. That's great. Leave it. All right, next up, we have a little rectangular box under here. It's almost the size of a box or a square, but we're going to put in some rectangles. So at the top of there, we're going to draw one line right across, just like that. So you drew a box, and now we're going to divide it up. So we created a rectangle there. Now we're going to do 3 lines in this shape below. So just divide that into thirds, just like that. And in the very middle one, make an X. Doesn't have to fill up the whole shape, but just give that a little design there. These dragonflies have these really intricate designs on their bodies, and they're beautiful colors. So I would suggest that you Google them. And you can add more details when we're all done, or get ideas for if you want to color it in. All right, next up we're going to do a bigger oval right below that. I sort of feel like I'm building a kebab. All right, so a nice little oval there. I'm planting my elbow, and I'm just using my forearm to do that oval. And inside that oval, I'm going to draw a series of 3 circles. So plant your wrist, and just fill in your shape with some circles. There's going to be one there, one right next to it. Round and around we go. Don't worry about making them perfect. These are on the actual insect, kind of, they're set designs, but they're also a little organic. So if they're not perfect, that just adds to the authenticity. Inside that, another circle, and another circle, and another circle. Lots of fine motor movements today. Below there, we're going to get into the midsection of our insect. We're going to draw some U shapes. So right below that center circle that you drew, we're going to draw a nice, tall, skinny letter U. Down, around, and back up. Then mimic that shape around and back up. And mimic that shape around and back up. 3-letter U's. If you flipped that over, you'd have a rainbow. Letter U's that you're drawing there. All right, now let's add in some legs. So off to the left here, I'm going to start there. Long ovals, just like we did for the arms. I think their legs have one more section, so we're going to go tilt it that way, and tilt it back into the body for the next section. Tilt it back out and make this your longest oval. And tilt it back in. Very good. Other side, same thing. Point it away from the body this time. A little smaller, toward the body. Longest one, away from the body. Long, thin ovals, back toward the body. See how mine don't match up? Yours won't either. It's good. Okay, below that, we are going to draw a square. Take a second here to make sure that your shapes are stacking fairly straight. When I was drawing my guide, I kept angling them over. So take a second and see if you're drawing them try to stack them one on top of the other. Next up, we're going to do a circle. This one is just barely big enough that you can get your whole arm going. From your shoulder, draw a circle. Inside that one, let's draw another circle. I'm adding in things as I go here. All right, now we're going to draw a long, skinny oval. It's going to be about this big, right underneath that. Long, skinny oval, just like that. Very good. Again, mine's not perfect. In the long run, we will erase all of these lines, so just let them be guides, hints to let you know where we're headed next. And at the base of that, 2 long, skinny ovals. One there, and one there. Let's add in a few details on this bottom part of the body. We're just going to add in some dividing lines, but we're going to arc them just ever so slightly. So, as I've told you before in other drawing tutorials, plant your wrist, and then move your hand in that natural motion. It's going to go in and it will give you a nice arc. Space them just ever so slightly apart. They kind of want to be about the same width in between each one. So if you want to use a finger, you could measure finger width apart. Just do that arc, plant your wrist, do your arc all the way down that body. And then one last one there. Now let's add in a few designs on these, and then we'll be on to our wings. On the first one, I'm going to leave that one alone. On the next one, I'm just going to draw a line right down the middle. On the next one, I'm going to do an X, connecting one side to the other side. Next one, a line, and an X. You could plant your wrist and do that arc if you wanted to get your X. That works pretty nicely. And then a line, and then an X. Very good. All the way down that body. This top section and the bottom section, we're going to add dots when we do the marker. So if you wanted to add a dot or two with your pencil so you know where they go, you could do that. I like to add dots in uneven numbers. Maybe a little odd quirk of mine, but that's what I like to do. So you decide. I like to do them in uneven numbers. All right, we are moving back up to the wings. Our wings are going to be each made of 2 ovals, and they are going to, so we've got this much room to the edge of our paper. So we just need to be aware of that and do one oval here, and then stacked up from that, another oval there. Get your whole arm going from your shoulder. If you want to take a look, this first one is going to live off of that circle on the body and point down just a little bit. It's going to be about that big. So go ahead and draw your oval. And then right next to it, let's add in another oval. Just like that. So one's kind of pointed down and the other one is angled just ever so slightly up or a little more straight. Between those 2 ovals, just along the top there, we're going to add in that connecting triangle. Right there, you see that shape? Add in that connecting triangle. And around the bottom, I'm going to add in just a little bit of a triangle. I'm going to kind of tuck it in between, just like that, because I do want it to have some variation when we trace over it. I want it to kind of have that little arc. All right, let's do the bottom wing now. We're going to do one oval about here, and this one's angled down, and then right off of that one, another one, again, angled down. They're about the same size and about the same width. And you add in your connecting triangle on the top there. You can really just draw that one line, but if you want to see that shape, it's right there. There's the triangle I'm talking about. All right, over to the other side. Now, whatever angle you did your wings in, try to mimic that on the other side. So for this one, my first section is going to go down just a little bit. Just about like that. Take a second, compare it to your other one. See, mine's not going exactly the same, so I'm just going to alter just a little bit. Yesterday on the cow I drew, his eyes got a little wonky. It's making me think, stop and take a look there. All right, moving up, we're going to stack another oval on top of that, just like we did for the other one. About like that. They're not perfect. Don't worry about it. Life isn't perfect. Insects aren't perfect. Even, we're not perfect. So add in another connecting triangle on the bottom there. Very good. Now, on to this next one. Same thing. We're going to draw an oval here, and then off of that, another oval. So get your arm going from your shoulder. One oval there, and then another oval right off of that. And then your connecting triangles. Okay. On the wings, let's add in 1 or 2 details here with our pencil, and then we are ready to switch over to our markers. We're going to follow along. When we trace this over with the marker, we're going to go over these outside lines. So we're going to draw a line that just goes right below that and kind of follows along that shape And then once you cross over into that second oval, head up to the oval. And when you get up there, add in a little tiny rectangle. Same thing on the other side, just kind of follow along those exterior shapes and then curve up and add in that little rectangle. Same thing along the bottom wings, from the inside of that oval, follow along and then connect it out, add in a rectangle. Other side, same thing, follow along and then connect up and add in a rectangle. I'm noticing on my bottom ones I need to add in a connecting triangle right here to connect it up to the body. So I'm going to just add that in. So if your wings on that bottom section don't connect into your body or hook into those shapes that we drew, add in a little connecting triangle right there. All right, last little shape on these wings, where our ovals meet up, kind of right where we drew that connecting triangle. We're going to draw from there, headed out to the edge of your paper, just a little really nice light line. This is the kind of line that if your hand shakes, it's going to add a lot of cool detail to it. So from there, from where you've got that, draw a nice little diagonal line. Let it be an organic shape, let it be wavy, and then at the end, kind of branch it off, almost like you would do if you were drawing a snowman. You can give it some twig arms with some little hands on the end. It's that kind of shape. On this one, same thing. This time, where your base oval and that top shape meet up, draw out from there, point it down to the wing, and add in your little twig hand there. Same thing over here, diagonal, and add in those little veins. All right, we are ready for our marker. You've drawn a lot of really tiny, intricate shapes today. This is super geeky, but I'm very excited. I have a brand new Sharpie. It's a good day for me. I'm using a Sharpie. You can use any kind of pen that you can't erase. A marker, a pen, a gel pen, whatever you want to use, just as long as you can't erase it, that's going to be perfect. So for this top shape, we are going to go around the exterior of that oval and stop when it meets up with our rectangle. The rectangle, we are going to trace around the whole rectangle, all the way around the rectangle. Then inside that rectangle, add a few little lines. Space them however you want to space them, just a little added detail. Next up, these ovals. We're going to go around the base of the oval, so around like that, stop where they meet up, and then around like that. Now inside that, let's draw those little circles, and let's add a few little dots, maybe 3 or 5 around those. For the arms, we are going to go around, we've got this top shape here, this circle. That circle is going to be in front, so we're just going to go from that circle over on our arms, trace around your arms, and fill them in. Maybe we should have drawn that circle first. So if you want to draw that circle first, you would trace around the circle down to where it meets up with that connecting rectangle there, like that. That might help you know where to color in your arms. Do that. Trace around the edges of that circle first. Then color in your arms. When you get up to that last little bit, I'm going to call it their hand. At the very end, give it a little flick in toward the face. So this one is going in that way. This one is going in that way. Little flick. They have these like little pieces at the end there. Okay, moving on down the body, let's add in our S shapes on the back there. These are just fun little designs. They have all kinds of cool designs, so Google that. You might want to add in some extra things. Next up, we are going to trace around this whole square, as well as every line that we drew in it. This one had no guides that we're going to eliminate. All of those boxes and rectangles and X's that we drew, trace right over them. All right, for the oval, we're going to go around the whole oval and then around all of the circles. I'm using the edge of my oval for those outside circles. So trace around all of those. For our U's, again, we're gonna trace around all of the U's. You've drawn a super intricate drawing today. All the way down and around. All right, if you pick a line that you didn't intend to pick, let it be. It is fine. Now for our legs, we're going to go over every oval that we've got and fill them in. Over that long one, down to what I'm going to call its foot. Off of that foot, I'm going to give a little flick in toward the body. Same thing on the other side. Go around that oval, fill it in, around that oval, around that oval, fill it in, around the foot, flick it in. Very good. All right, on to the body. I keep wanting to call it the thorax. I have no idea what it's called, so I shouldn't say anything. We're going to go around the edges of that box there, and we're going to draw all the way around the circle we drew, picking your favorite lines, and all the way around that inside circle. For the base of our dragonfly's body, we're going to go all the way around the oval. So go ahead and trace down one side, come to the middle and stop, go back up. I think it's easier to trace going down because you can see the line that you're trying to trace over rather than go up it. Sometimes your hands get in the way. These two little ovals that live at the base of that insect, we're going to fill those in solid black. And if you have it where it goes over a little bit too far, just thicken your line there, like what I just did. Now we're just going to trace over our little designs. Plant your wrist and let your arm go in the natural arc that it's going to go, and trace over all of our designs. I feel like I remembered to add in details and I'm not having you do it on the fly with your marker, so that was good. I chose to do all of my straight lines and then go back and do my X's. You don't have to do that. You can trace over however you want. Trace over the lines that you had and then add in your little dots. I ended up with 7 on the bottom section. You can have more, you can have less, whatever works for you. If I'm moving faster than you're moving, pause me, fill in all your details, and then hit play. When you're ready, I'll be right here. All right, we're going to move up to the wings. For the wings, we are going to go around the edges of all of these shapes first. So starting at the body, we're going to go out over that oval, onto the connecting triangle, around that oval, whoop, I couldn't see, around that oval, onto the connecting triangle, around that oval, and back to the body. Let's do that bottom one. Connecting triangle, around the oval, connecting triangle, around the oval, and head back up. I'm going to move my arm so I can see better. Normally I would rotate my paper to help me get some of these curves. Feel free to do that. I don't do it because I don't trust myself to line my paper back up with my camera. Going back in toward the body and drawing in those wing shapes. Over to the other side, same deal. Around the oval, pick your favorite lines. How thick do you want your wings to be? I'm going to move my arm so you can see and I can see around the oval, onto the connecting triangle, picking my favorite lines, back toward the body. Last section, connecting triangle, onto my oval, connecting triangle, around the oval, connecting triangle, back to the oval. So good, you guys. Last little detail for us. We are going to do that inside line that we did that followed those shapes and then connected up to our wing, and add in that little rectangle. Let's do that on all four. That shape that mimicked the top, add in your little rectangle at the end. I'm just going to go around the square here. Add in my little rectangle at the end. Same deal. Follow the lines you've already drawn. Okay, now for the inside of our wing, where we had that first oval, from the line that we just drew, we're going to draw from that line over to the edge of the wing. So follow your oval shape down to the edge. And then right in that little crook there, loosen your grip on your marker, let your hand shake, and do your little snowman twig arm shape there. Same thing on the other side. From the line we drew, the mimicking line, trace around that oval to the edge, and then in that center part, add in the little twig arm. Loosen your grip on your marker so that it'll shake a little bit. Same thing, moving on down the body. Add in the little twig arm. Same thing on this one. Follow your oval to where it meets. And over. Very good. If you wanted to add in a few more details on the wings, this would be the detail you would add in. You could do it on this one right down the center if you wanted to. You can also, I think I did this on my guide, on the bottom wing, I'm going to add in a few dots that go around that top part there. So let's take a second, add in some dots. You can space them far apart, you can make them big, you can make them little, however you want to do it. It just adds in a detail. If you look at dragonflies, look up some pictures, their wings are made of all these really intricate little, almost like squares. Very, very cool. Take a second and look at those. All right, you have your dragonfly. Switch to your eraser and let's erase your guides. I'm going to switch over to my guide, which actually is not as cool as the drawing we just did, but I drew this one in pencil, so I'm going to erase right along with you. Hold your paper down so you don't crinkle it. Start up at the top and just start erasing. I can't wait to see what you drew, so make sure you send me your drawings in the comments below. I will put them up on my website, RebeccaInc.com. You can find them under the Interact tab. So if you've sent me drawings, I think I'm all caught up. I added a few yesterday. If you've sent me drawings, you will find them there. Scroll down, see what everybody's creating and what everybody's coloring. Very, very fun to see. If you would like another activity for your afternoon or even your weekend, I created a new coloring page. I'm going to touch it up on the computer and add it in. I'll show you real quick. From our cow we drew yesterday, I made a new coloring page. I'm going to touch this up on the computer and have it in there for you to color. Might take you all weekend, so that could be something fun to do. I hope you are staying home and staying safe and staying positive, and I will be back on Monday. I need a few more suggestions, so send me some ideas in the comments below of what you want to draw, and I enjoyed drawing with you, and I'll see you Monday. Have a good weekend. Bye.